All right. Hello, everybody. We are on the Reasonable Bee podcast. It is January 5th, 2026 today, and we're here with Elias Fisher. You can give yourself a short introduction, and then you also had a question for me right away that I'm excited to get into.
All right. Um, Thankful for this opportunity. I I guess a brief bit about me is I'm a musician, songwriter, um, entrepreneur, uh, really value being in nature and hiking and running.
Mm,
I'm from Indiana, Southern Indiana, Bloomington and Ellettsville out here. Go Hoosiers. Um,
awesome. Yeah, and I think we'll get into some super interesting stuff with the music and songwriting because I've also played guitar for quite a few years and also songwrite. So I'm excited to get into that later in a little bit. But
okay,
yeah,
amazing. I was gonna ask you about that too, because I know you mentioned that you play guitar.
yeah, I do. We can get into it right now if you'd like.
Okay, cool. How about guitar stuff and then segue into some of the health and van life questions?
Yeah, that sounds super cool. How long have you played?
Man, I am 27 now. I've been playing guitar since I was 10, but
Mm,
piano since I was about 5.
it's very cool. I've heard so much about how, like, piano is kind of like the meta instrument to learn because you understand so much, and then that applies to other instruments so much easier, and guitar. But I have not learned any piano at all. I've only played
Yes.
guitar.
Oh, serious? Just acoustic guitar?
Yeah, I have an electric, but I don't really play electric that often, just because the music that I've more listened to has all been acoustic stuff, and I've noticed that like I'm just a little bit better acoustic because I've not practiced electric much at all.
I definitely feel like acoustic's harder to play than electric.
Yeah, like just
But
because of the
no
strings you're
piano.
saying.
Yeah, yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
feel like the calluses and, like, the pain from, like, the start of acoustic guitar, that grind, like, it
Oh yeah.
hurts so much more than electric.
Yeah, I definitely went through that. I had that. So then when I got an electric guitar, I was like just messing around, like playing super simple chords on it and like the couple scales that I knew. Like that's about as far as I've gotten, other than like learning like songs and writing my own stuff. But yeah, I got my electric guitar and I was messing around on it and I was like, wow, this is easy. It's so light. Like the strings are light. I can move however I want. It was like a
Yeah.
lot of just ease moving to that. But yeah, acoustic guitar is definitely my thing at least. What do you do usually?
Yeah, well, so both acoustic and electric.
Mm.
Um, I have a Taylor acoustic that I just got, like, it's like kinda like a m it's a mini size guitar, but I got it because it was a lighter acoustic than my older one that I have. Um, but I like playing Music Man electric guitars, the Ernie Balls.
Mm.
But I've really been really appreciating acoustic guitar more recently, especially since last year. And I think songwriting on it, just like grab it and go. Like, are there any songwriters that you look up to?
Yes. Yeah, certainly. I do agree. Like with the just picking up an acoustic, it feels more complete than like just having an acoustic versus just electric. The acoustic does feel like a little bit more complete, especially when you pair that with a song. And
Yes.
yeah, songwriters I look up to for sure. I don't know if you're familiar. I listen to a lot of kind of like Americana, like country music. So Evan
Okay.
Felker from the Turnpike Troubadours is a really, really big one. Jason Isbell, Sturgill Simpson,
Oh
um,
yeah.
Tyler Childers a little bit, not so much anymore. But otherwise, I've always loved Leonard Skinner as well. So like, I haven't a lot yet, but I do want to kind of write a song like with their inspiration too. So that's just a few, just to name some.
Okay, yeah, Sturgill, Jason,
Yeah.
Turnpike Troubadours, Leonard Skinner. Man, out of all those names sound familiar, but I live out of that list, I've seen Jason Isbell live.
Cool.
Um,
Me
I
too.
volunteered. Oh, really?
Yeah. He was playing
Where
in
was where?
He's playing in gosh, Moorhead, I believe, right next to Fargo, North Dakota, but it was in Minnesota.
Dang, was it a big size venue? Was it outdoors, indoors?
Yeah, it was, I would say like small to medium. It wasn't like huge and it was outdoor. It was really pretty. I forget what it's called though. I want to say it was like blue something. But yeah, it was beautiful. I had a great time there. But you were saying you
Wow.
volunteered somewhere?
Yeah, I volunteered at this the place called Brown County Music Center in Nashville, Indiana, and I was able to volunteer um and do a shift to then see the Jason Isbell concert.
Mm, that's awesome. How
So
was
I
that?
was ecstatic.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
freaking
after
cool.
like yeah, after 3 hours of volunteering in the parking lot and directing folks on where to go and then policies of the venue, like it was a bit exhausting, but then going in there to see the concert was well worth it. Like it yeah, it was surreal. Like
Yes.
when 24 frames came on, I think I was sitting there had like an out of body experience.
Yeah. That's awesome. When I saw him, he did 24 frames in the encore, I believe. And I was like pretty certain. I was like he's not going to play an encore. I was like I just feel like he's like one of those guys who's like thinks he's too good for that. Even if it's like
Oh yeah.
become the norm in the music industry, like you always walk back on for an encore it seems like. But I was like I don't think he's gonna. So my friends and I walked out and we heard him play and we turned around and ran back to watch it, and he did 24 frames and I forget what else. I think he did If We Were Vampires. But what are a couple specific songs that you look up to and like lines in it that you've really taken inspiration from?
Jason Isabel or any artist.
Anything, honestly.
All right, so I I'm a fan of yeah, also Tyler that you mentioned. Um the last album that came out that Rick Rubin produced,
Yes.
um I found that one really like I listened to it through one time. I found it really odd. I also loved it. I didn't like I felt like a very different than like some of the older albums like The Rustin' in the Rain.
Yeah.
Um but definitely okay, if I could think of some Tyler songs and then some Jason songs. I like Jack Johnson a lot.
Oh, yeah. Me too. He's
That
awesome.
dude.
Yeah.
And then I had like a Paul McCartney book of song lyrics from him and Paul Simon. I have these like random like songwriter books
Mm.
and I'll like read the entire book. It has like lyrics to like 100 songs. And though I don't remember all of the lyrics, I definitely find it like a way to get like new ideas from just reading like a random Paul Simon song.
Yeah. And that you
I'm
let
trying
that
to think
spark
of
something like for yourself.
yeah. Like I don't want to I'm not trying to copy from anything,
Yeah.
but I'm definitely just like seeing how these how like how creative these dudes were and like I'm trying to think of a couple songs in particular that I okay, I could think of 3 right now. Pretty like song lyrics that have definitely helped me through troubled times, but also songwriting. Upside Down by Jack Johnson.
Mm. Why?
I think in the choruses, the "We'll sing and dance to Mother Nature" song that comes in, like, I think it's the 3rd line of the chorus.
Yes.
Um, and then also both verses, the way they, start with the "Who's to say, what's impossible, what they forgot," and then the 2nd verse, I'm trying to think of right now in my mind.
I can't do
I think
everything, but I can try.
yeah, I can yes, yes, yes. Just, like, those verses start so strong.
Yes.
And then I find like in that chorus, like there's some holistic like like with being outside and rhythm and music and I mean that song was written for the Curious George, like the OG
Yeah.
that soundtrack. it's just such a good uplifting song. Like, I have listened to it way too many times and found myself going back to it.
Mm.
Um, and the other Jack Johnson song, I think is like it's off of the album To the Sea that I think is from 2010. Um, it's the very first song on that album. It's You and Your Heart.
That's one of my favorites, I think.
Yeah. The acoustic, well, I guess electric guitar, that line. Maybe is it acoustic electric?
Um, like the riff going into the song.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
riff,
that's
it's always in my
awesome.
head.
Yeah, that's electric, I think. I was learning that for a little bit because I thought it was so cool. But yeah, that song really is. I can't remember the lyrics off the top of my head.
I
I
think in
want to
like
look them
the I
up.
think in the I think it's like, something about, like, reflections in the sun.
Yes.
Um,
Oh, and it opens like with the blame. Like, watch you when you say what you are and what you blame everyone, you broken king.
yes, yes, yes. Isn't something about, like, is it oh, I can't even think of the rhyme scheme, but that is bringing all the memories back. Yeah, it's like yeah, the very first lines, the Jack Johnson songs, it just hits you.
Yes, they do. And I think really like it's quite simple. I think the main thing behind it is that it hits you in such a soft, simple way that his music and his voice are, but you can really look into the lyrics. I also like because I'm into astrology, I love the Don't Believe a Thing I Say because that song is like all about astrology and the whole thing. I don't know if you're into astrology at all.
So, I'm definitely like, I wanna be honest on here, if there's points or topics you bring up, I am not that well educated on astrology.
Mm. Yeah, no, I think that's totally okay, but I love this song in like I'll share a little bit about it with you. Do you know the song?
What album is it on?
From Here to Now to You, the one with the clouds.
The I've definitely heard it in passing, like, I
Yeah.
from
Um
here to now.
what it's first it says Mercury's in retrograde, don't believe a thing I say. That's the first two lines of this song. And Mercury is the planet of communication. And when it's in retrograde, it's moving backwards. So that's why it's like, don't believe a thing I say, because Mercury's in retrograde.
Retrograde.
Yes. But then
That's
the song
genius.
is also tying in a little bit to kind of like how it sounds like he's like writing this song or he's in this room like with the echo and he's kind of battling that along with like the stars. And then the second verse, I believe, is when Saturn returns, I begin to trust in patterns more than men. And I think that that's super interesting because your Saturn return is something that happens when you are um 38 or 37, I believe. And basically what that means is um oh, not 38, 28 to 29 years old is roughly when it is. And
Oh, wow.
what that happens is that's when Saturn does its first full rotation from when you were born. So whatever Saturn sign, it takes roughly 28, 29 years to do its full loop and then it returns. And once it returns is like your sign of maturity. Saturn is a sign of maturity. And then when it returns, that's like really when you're growing into like kind of true adulthood or real maturity or big understandings and kind of grounding a little bit. So it's saying like I begin to trust in patterns more than men or the stories that they tell even when they tell them well. So even a man or even a person, what he's saying, when they're telling like a really good story or like a really good lesson and it sounds like it's all making sense, he becomes mature enough to trust in the patterns rather than this thing that's always like being sold. Like ideas are always just being sold. That's like what an idea is. Like I'm selling this idea to you right now, technically. So it's like no matter what he's being sold, he's like mature enough to stay grounded in that. Like here are the patterns.
Whoa. Yeah, speaking of staying grounded, I think Jack Johnson definitely walks around barefoot in the grass.
Like literally grounded, yeah. My
Yeah.
uncle used to live in Hawaii, and he said one day him and his buddy were just walking around, and they look over and they saw this dude just sitting on a rock jamming out to a guitar, and they like walked up closer and they're like, holy shit, that's Jack Johnson, just like sitting on the beach and like hanging out playing his guitar alone. Like that's just what he does.
That's amazing. That's if I was just walking in Hawaii and found Jack Johnson, I'd probably pass out.
Yeah, probably. Like
Dang.
that would be really cool, but that's really just a big sign of embodiment. He does embody what he talks about, and his way of living is very relaxed and very grounded, literally and not literally as well. But that shows up in his music like 100%. And I think that's part of why it's extremely unique. There are not many people like him at the depth that he is at. And I think that's because he's so aligned that, of course, his music's going to be unique and grounded.
Definitely. Like, and he's had a long career too. And talk about like donating money like to good organizations and wanting to be like a videographer. Like he was doing videography and stuff, and surfing, right? And then that kind of like, then everything kind of went into music.
Yeah.
And like he didn't even start out as a musician. I always found that so fascinating. Like he was surfing and creating surfing video, and then that music was to accompany the surfing videos.
Yeah. That's
So
why he made
maybe it's
music.
all, yeah, accidental that it was like that. He found that passion, that love was from a different pursuit. Like that then led to discovering. I think more people just need to like try different things, random things. Try things that you're interested, because you never know if things could work out that way.
Yeah, definitely. Like it just fell onto him. What is meant for
Yeah.
you will align. There's a quote that I've heard a few times that I really love, and it's like God will subtly like whisper and hint until he has to like drop a semi truck right in front of your face. Like
Whoa.
he will subtly like hint and kind of put this in your awareness or suggest like, hey, you could do a little bit of this. Like, hey, I'm going to lead you in this direction a little bit. And if it's not clear, eventually it will just be like, boom, right in front of your face. Like it could not be more clear. And it sounds like it's like, yeah, he really enjoyed surfing and the surfing videos and things like that. And then like all of a sudden it's like, okay, well, you need music to go along with these surfing videos. So that's him kind of
Oh
like
yeah.
God like sliding it in there like, hey, maybe music is your path here.
Wow. That's um well, also on the subject of music and Johnson, when you're playing guitar and writing, um what like how do you go about songwriting? Is it different writing than, well, I would assume it's different writing than a Substack post, but like when you're writing a song, do you write structure like verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, or just kind of like try
Yeah,
to write it in 45 minutes? Or like how long does that writing process take you?
that's a good question. I haven't experimented a ton with different like prompts or writing strategies, or like what you said, it's like, okay, I'm going to do it in 45 minutes. That's a cool
Uh-huh.
idea. I do want to try some different things like that. I've not written a ton of songs lately in the last couple months, but I've gone through like deep phases of songwriting where like for a month I've written like 3 or 4 songs a week. So
Oh
I've
yeah.
probably written like 30 or 40 songs by now. Not all of them that I would share or perform, but you got to get through the garbage to get some good ones. One
Oh,
thing with me that
definitely.
I've noticed, it was like always finish a song, and more specifically, always finish a song in the same session that you began writing it. For me, at least, because I've noticed if I'm in the middle of a song and I'm like, all right, I'm done. I know that that song won't ever get finished. So I'm like, okay, I'm
Yeah.
going to finish this song. If it's not perfect or even if it's really bad, I'm still going to finish it because then it feels complete. And then it's something that I can go back to and edit because it's already finished. I don't know, something in my mind where it's like, if I leave it halfway, I'm not going to come back to it with the same energy that I put into it and was originally what originally inspired me to write it in the first place. But so once I have a songwriting like paper notebook, and that's where they all stay. Like my final songs, my songwriting process happens in there. But when I have
Okay.
ideas, like if I get a melody that I like, or a lyric that I write, or just something unique that I was like, oh, I kind of want to write a song about that tiny little detail that I may have seen like on the road in the van or in nature, or just something that somebody said. Um, like I really like to capture those moments. Like one that like pops up specifically, like Evan Felker and the Bird Hunters, is like the end of the chorus is like, "Go on to hell, honey, I'm headed home." It's like who like who says that? And it's like that's like a moment like that needs to be captured.
Whoa.
So like if I hear something like that in real life, like somebody else says something and I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's kind of cool, very unique." Like it's not something you just think of all the time, you know? That I
Oh
captured
yeah.
down in my phone and I have a lyrics notes page. Or else like one time I was driving through a local town and I saw like the wind picked up and a lady like bowed her head down and head put her hand on her hat because it was about to blow away. And it was like a big hat, like big like rounded, I don't even know what you'd call it, but I was like, there's a lady holding her hat in the wind. Like, I don't know. It's just a cool, specific detail that I want to save because I want that to fit into a song somewhere at some point. So that's kind of
Oh
how my
yeah.
like ideation process starts. But otherwise, and that's just for lyrics. For melodies, like I'm super musical. There's almost always a song stuck in my head. Every morning when I wake up, it's like a different song stuck in my head. And I think it's really funny, but it's almost every morning without fail. Um, but otherwise, like I just kind of have melodies like popping around in my head. So if I get one that I can't,
Mm.
if I that I can't stop singing to myself, I put it in my voice memos, even if it's like no words to it, even if I'm just ba da 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 da, you know, whatever it may be. I save the
Oh yeah.
melody in voice memos. That's the greatest tool. And then when I like want to write, usually it's like something, an old melody and lyric that I wrote that is just like popping in my head again. And I'm like, okay, if it's stuck in my head, that means that it's probably going to be pretty good if I wrote this a year ago and right now it's stuck in my head out of nowhere. And I'm like, okay, maybe there's
Yes.
something here that I can write with because this came back up for a reason. And then I sit down and I will say that I'm a little bit too perfectionist when writing a song. When writing like a social media post or a Substack article or something, I kind of just let it out. But the songs I have such high standards for that it does not always come out the easiest. So it could take me like an hour to 2 hours, I would say, to write one song. And I don't follow a structure all the time, as in like verse, chorus, bridge,
Right.
chorus, whatever. Um, Personally, I don't like bridges that much, and I'm not good at writing them. So they're not in a lot of my songs. They're in like maybe one or two, but I'm not opposed to them. I just haven't. But gosh, where was I going?
I,
Oh, I don't follow
well.
any rhyme schemes in particular either. Like I will kind of a
Mm.
little bit, but I'm very loose with it. I'm like, okay, not every line needs to fit into this scheme, but I do follow them generally because first they do sound really good and they do capture attention and get people listening too. But also I'm like, I want the words to be what they're meant to be. If I could fit that into a rhyme, that's great. If it's like a half rhyme, that's okay. If it doesn't rhyme at all, but it hits the point, if is going to make some emotional like reaction with that line, I don't need it to rhyme.
Yes. Yes. Some of my yeah, there's some of my favorite there's lines like that don't even rhyme. Like the
Yeah,
end of it. Maybe the start of it rhymes and the end of it's like it trails off. You're like, what the heck?
yeah. I kind of
Um
like that. I always liked how the drive-by truckers, I don't know if you've listened to them, um, but the way that Patterson Hood and Mike Cooley a little bit too, those are the two main songwriters. And Jason Isbell used to play with them back in the day. I'm sure you know.
okay, that's okay,
Yeah.
yes. Now that if Jason Isbell used to play with him, that's how I know that I was like, wait, is he in that band?
Yeah.
So he used to.
Yes, he did. Yeah, so the way that Patterson Hood writes his songs are like, do you know the bell curve meme where like on the bottom left it's like, oh, this guy doesn't know anything, and then at the top it's like the pretend genius who's like, do all this, do all this, do all this, and then the bottom right is like the genius who's doing the same thing as the idiot is, but they've just gone through that process.
Is there like a Star Wars guy in it, or is it just a me? Is it just a bell curve? I feel like I've seen that like
Yes,
with
the guy
audio
on the
production.
far right like has the hood over it.
Okay, yeah,
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 it's like that's
yeah.
what Patterson Hood feels like. It feels like he's on the right, like the master of the bell curve. But the way he writes his songs, like some idiot could write a song and it would be similar to that, but he just does it
Hmm.
from that more like experienced and like deeper level. But one thing of like he'll just like repeat the same thing over and over again, like 3 or 4 times. It's like one line that just on the top of my head is like these people were moving towns, and it's the line is, so you move to a small town and then to another and then to another and then with another on its way. And it's like two bars that are saying the same thing over and over again, but like he doesn't
Ah,
need to be fancy with it, and it's like really getting that point of like repetition. Like it's just you're going to another one and then another one and then another one. It's not like significant because they're just going on and on. Or like he will just say something that it feels like it doesn't flow or doesn't rhyme at all. Um, the first time you hear it, you're like, oh, that line was definitely out of place. And then you listen to it back and you listen to it back and you listen to it back. And you're like, actually, that fits perfectly. Like, I don't know what
mm.
other way that line could be. And yeah, the way that they write their songs are just, I've noticed really unique like that.
Yeah. Saying another and another and another, it makes me think of the DJ Khaled, another one.
Yeah, it
Um,
does. And
to get the
he's
point
probably the bottom left of the bell curve meme.
um, yeah. Yeah, wow. So like having a journal and a writing book for the purpose of in that is those songs you're writing, and then having voice memos to compartmentalize, like, and then that's where those ideas are going with that regard. And then I'm trying to think what was the other thing. um
Yeah, it's kind of a
and then it taking
funnel. Like I'm
you're
like,
right.
okay, bass lyric ideas without any melodies in my phone writing notes app. Um, Melodies that I just pop in my head goes into voice memos. If I pair a melody and lyrics, that's in my voice memos. And then when I'm writing, it's all in that notebook. Once it's in the notebook, like I said, kind of at the beginning of explaining my songwriting process, it's like once
Mm-hmm.
I write a song, I'm going to finish it. So once I write it in the notebook, it's going to be finished. There's only like maybe 2 songs in there in the notebook that I haven't finished because that's where I save like my complete songs. That's when I sit down, I'm like, okay, I'm going to write an entire song. So then while writing, I'll have my voice memos up and I'll have my lyrics up. And that's kind of like my ideas, my inspiration for the notebook, for the full song.
Mm. It's a never ending process.
Yes. There's always an idea. Like I've not written a song in months, but it's like at any moment I could write down an idea and it's always there to come back to. And it's like a never-ending process in the terms of like maybe this is what you meant is like when do you end a song? Like how do you know it's done? How do you know there's no more editing to do?
Oh yeah.
And I think that I don't even know, like thinking of a couple songs that I've written now, like I know, and I've literally had these conversations before, um, where it's like I'll think of a song and I'll be like, that one's done. I'm not touching it. That one does not need any editing. And then another one, like you could just feel when you think of the song. And like I'll think of some of my songs right now, and it's like, yeah, those are definitely not done. I definitely need to edit those. So for me, it's like a feeling at least. I don't know what it's like for you.
Whoa. You mean what? Like the process of songwriting as a whole?
Like when is one song actually done? Like,
Whoa.
yeah, like how do you, yeah, literally, I just think about it and I feel I'm like, yeah, that song's done. There's nothing in there that I would change. But other
Right, like,
songs,
yeah.
I'm certainly like, yep, I have to edit those. That is not done at all. Even if the full song is written, even if I played it on guitar and recorded like a demo of it, like I have this knowingness in me, like, yeah, I could change something there. That's probably
Mm.
more than half my songs. The other half, I've probably probably half my songs I've written and I'm like, yeah, they're not done. I could go back and edit them and then I would be happy like performing them and releasing them or things like that. And then so that's a half. And then a quarter would be like, that song's bad, throw it away. I don't need it ever again. And then another quarter I would say is like, yes, these are done. I can sit with these. These are final.
Mm. I feel like there's something else I just realized too. Another point. There's a guy named Nick D who like would record a lot of his come up. He would record a lot of songs in the back of his car because that was
Oh.
the quietest place to record. Um, he's a singer and rapper and producer. He Nick. Oh, I'm thinking Nick D, not Nick Dean.
Okay.
Um, Nick D with just a letter, and um, maybe that could like segue into like talk about van life.
Yeah.
And living. But right before that, okay. So songwriting wise, okay, songwriting wise, how do I know when it's done? I think when it drives me to a point of like complete like insanity. Like if I'm just like if I'm or maybe it's also if like if I don't have to question it at all. Maybe if it's just like
Yeah.
if it feels like I'm in my mind closing a chapter. I think Russ has talked about that, like closing a chapter in a book, like closing a chapter in your life. Maybe that song was written for that specific chapter and it's done. Like you don't have to go back and switch out some of the lyrics in the verse. Like maybe it was about some
Yeah.
trauma you went through. Maybe you're talking about some seriously deep stuff. You don't necessarily have to go revisit that because you wrote
Yeah.
those words, you got that melody out. Like maybe it's not a good thing to kind of go back in and tamper with what you created. Like,
Yeah. Especially if you did it in that place. Like if you wrote a song about something very emotional and that's you wrote it when you were in that place,
whoa,
going back on it is like kind of doing it a disservice because you're editing like the raw emotion that was there. And you're
yeah.
like maybe you don't tamper with that and maybe that's done and that's how it was supposed to come out. And it's like I look up to Jason Isbell a lot. I've heard it in a couple of his interviews. He was like, I've said some shit that I don't want to say, but he's like, that's how I immediately know that it has to stay in a song. If I say something that I don't want.
Dang.
So that's something that I've thought about a couple times, and I've never had anything super strong, but there has been moments where I'm like, "Ooh, I can't say that," and I'm like, "Okay, that means that it has to be in the song."
Yeah. Wow, this conversation is hitting hard.
Yeah,
I'm having like my brain is like from everything we've talked about with songwriting, I'm having all of these like connections and pathways and thinking about stuff a little bit differently.
yeah, dude, that's
Even the I
awesome.
don't know, this has been so beneficial. I'm already like, and I don't even know we were going to talk about this in the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, who knows? That's the greatest part about just hopping on like without some kind of structure or like I don't have a list of questions that I want to ask you, you know? It's the
Right.
best part. It's like you get to unlock stuff like this. I'm definitely
Wow.
excited to go back to songwriting too now, just talking about it because it has been a while. But it is always something when I do it, so fulfilling. I love it. One thing though, it drains me. I have to make sure to do like my online creator work, like record my YouTube videos, do a podcast, write my Substacks, write my social media posts. I have to do that
Mm.
definitely before I write a song because once I write a song, that's like all my creative energy is like, oh, I'm completely drained of creativity for the rest of the day. It takes
Yeah.
everything.
It causes fatigue. If I write in the morning before I go to work, if I write a song in the early morning, I mean, yeah, you're like fatigued. It's
Yeah.
like it just act like playing guitar and city words. It's not like it's not like we're in the military. Um, or I mean, it's like yeah, you literally. It is so tiring to write a song.
Mm-hmm.
Like Ed Sheeran could bust out like 3 to 5 songs in a day.
Yeah.
But I've never been. I have not. I can't. I've written one song in one day. Like I have not written multiple songs in a day. I do not think.
Yeah. I have 2 or 3 times, I think, and two of them were like one of my or a couple of my favorite songs that I've written. And I was looking because I date my songwriting notebook because I think it's super interesting. And I was like, holy shit, I wrote both these songs in the same day. And I was
Oh,
like,
you're
what?
putting the
Yeah.
day, the month, and the year to chronologize to organize, like to have a
Yes.
okay.
I think it was like Fleetwood Mac wrote two like huge hits on the same day, I feel like. I don't
Mm.
remember though. It might not have been Fleetwood Mac, but I'm looking it up right now. Um Maybe it wasn't, but it was like two hit song. I'm looking it up. Maybe it was Dolly.
Hmm.
I think it was Dolly Parton actually.
Wow. Wait, so this is two songs written in one day or two songs like recorded and finished in one day?
Okay, it was not Fleetwood Mac. I was mistaken with that. Dolly Parton wrote Jolene and I Will Always Love You on the same day.
Yo, what?
Yeah. I remember that came out of. Okay, wait, it does say that it's speculation, but it was around the same time with many sources saying it was the same day in 1973. She later clarified that they were in a very short span, maybe a couple days apart. It's because she didn't remember. But yeah, I guess so apparently she wrote those within days of each other. Like two of the
One thing
biggest hits.
one thing's for sure, yeah, Jolie. I mean that's like in my mind right now. That Dolly Parton had to be in flow state
Yes.
for an extended period of time.
Yeah,
There's
on
no
the
way that like
macro.
yeah, that's insane.
Mhm. That's something that like I've found immediate flow when I'm songwriting and I get into it. Like flow comes so easily for me. And I'm like, wow, this is like this needs to come out this exact way. And I'm like fully in it. But if I'm struggling, I'm not in flow at all. And maybe that's a sign to take a break or to write that song another time in a different emotional state or something like that.
Mm, yeah. Whoa.
Yeah, there's some cool stuff there. I would love to get into some of the health and the van life stuff though too. I'm gonna take a quick
Yeah.
bathroom break and then I'll be right back.
Okay, dope.
Cool.
I think I was humming. If that audio still was the audio paused when your
Uh,
guitar was
yeah, I did
recording.
pause it. I just unpaused it. You were humming?
Oh, I was like humming like Jason Isbell, like Jolene, like I was humming the songs.
Just
It would have
jamming
been like
out.
a commercial break of like instead of an advertisement, it's just like a voice moment, like singing like a melody off key.
That's awesome. I should have kept it unpaused. I'll stay silent for 2 minutes if you want to hum again.
Mm, eh.
So, dude, you were telling me that um you got into holistic health because you wanted to heal yourself. Was that right?
Yes.
Could you tell me the story?
Yeah. And there's definitely things about this that I'm not like knowledgeable on. So I feel like some random guy on the internet's gonna like find this and be like that's not correct with the Crohn's, but I'm just gonna talk about what I've experienced and like, okay, so the question is regarding to like how I was trying to heal myself.
Yeah,
My brain just spaced out. Okay,
that's all right.
so yeah, I have done so much experimentation with Crohn's and trying to heal and healing my gut and trying to heal my mind and thinking a lot about like the brain and gut connection where like if you're like periods of time where you're really depressed and you're eating poorly, right? Then like I'm having a Crohn's flare up.
Hmm.
So I'm like since I was 13, like nearly half my life, I have been dealing with Crohn's and different diets and different been on different medicine. Um it all started when I had a malrotated colon that I had to have surgery for. And that was still the most painful experience of my life to this day. that I can still kind of remember and have like flashbacks to that pain and that experience. Um, a lot of it was like having very, very strict dietary thoughts about like really not trying to try a bunch of different foods
Mm.
because like spicy foods and nuts and berries, and if it was really greasy or popcorn, there's tons of other stuff too. Uh, I would have to not even entertain the thought of like trying to eat these foods. Like I wouldn't eat strawberries, I wouldn't eat cashews, I wouldn't eat chili, um, corn on the cob, bacon, blackberries. Now I'm getting hungry. Um,
Yeah. So it was a lot like those were the types of foods that really irritated you.
oh yeah, and that was like those are the foods that like I was told and the research showed that you should stay away from. Um,
Did that
but I
work for you?
definitely, yeah, but I also realized like strawberries and blackberries and such could be right kind of put in a smoothie.
Yeah.
So that way by drinking it like a smoothie or juice, it was better for the Crohn's to get the nutrients that way. So I definitely, along with the insurers that I was drinking, those chocolate insurers are gonna give me PTSD. Yeah, smoothies, like smoothies with like lettuce and kale and bananas and fruits and creating smoothies. I think a big change I think was literally just drinking smoothies
Mm. Because you
and
could
also
still
try
get
not
what
to
you
let
would get from the Whole Foods, but in an easier way.
yeah. And when I was off of the Remicade infusions, um, and I have been now for like well over a year, um, I don't even notice a difference from being on those infusions and that medication. I don't even notice a difference in my health from eating um, and I've literally, well, actually, I've definitely been eating slightly better
Mm.
and trying to take care of my stress
Yes. How have you done that?
and my energy. So it's a lot like less screen time and sometimes turning my phone off between 24 to 48 hours at a time.
Mm.
By limiting like phone use and limiting like the bandwidth that I have because I'm realizing I'm becoming very like technology is kind of starting to freak me out a bit. Just with too much information being readily available, there's also too much information that is kind of being thrown at us. And I would get Crohn's flare-ups from like reading news events.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Like I would find myself it could be multiple news events in a row, but literally having like health problems and having like Crohn stuff come up because I'm just like too hypersensitive to the world.
Yes.
So I think by like limiting phone usage, like paying attention to diet, exercising, basketball, running, um, and then the cold immersion, cold showers, cold plunges,
Yeah, that
periods
sounds
of time
super
where I've done
powerful.
that.
I Oh, you can go ahead.
Well, I was also gonna talk about Wim Hof breathing,
Oh yeah.
the cold stuff and Wim Hof. So like paying attention to breathing and like doing like really good breath work. I think I really took that for granted. Like actually taking like setting aside maybe it's 4 minutes to breathe.
Yeah, it's so simple.
Because yeah, because like if because society's like oh y'all got time for that today like you got to go. But I think yeah, breathing and cold immersion and turning your phone off for a day and working without it and then like I mean, all these things combined, I think are like, I think that's the answer.
Yes. How have you seen that come up with your Crohn's, with your health? Would you say that like you're pretty unaffected now? Or is it like you're unaffected when you're doing those things in a routine? I'm curious.
Yeah, I think I'm still affected, but I'm definitely affected less when I like you said, when I'm doing those things in a routine,
Mm.
and I'm actually like in my mind being like, oh, like I took a cold shower, had a smoothie, like I've been off my phone for 12 hours. I'm like, no wonder that I'm having no like pain in my small intestine. Like I'm having no pain right now,
Yeah.
or like I've grounded for 30 minutes, or I've walked outside for an hour. Um, the more that I tap into thinking about all the things that I've done in succession, like and the pain I'm experiencing, I think that's more than I'm realizing in it. There's still times though I could walk and eat and drink healthily and think that I'm doing all the best things, and I'll still have a like Crohn's flare up. I know it's like with me for the rest of my life, but and I know that like doctors and folks that are prescribing medicine, like if it's the Remicade infusions, they would probably disagree with everything that I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
As they do.
but yeah, but I swear there's like, yeah, if anybody's listening to this that has Crohn's, like like you'll know what I'm talking about. Like there is such the gut mind link between how you're feeling and your mental health with how your stomach feels. Like that is so real.
Yeah, that's exactly what popped into my head too when you said like
Mm.
you would read news headlines and then all of a sudden you'd start feeling pain. It was like that.
Yes.
Yeah, that's so crucial. And I think a lot of it is honestly meant to just keep people sick. It's like keep
Yes.
people unwell so that way first they're less free. They're expressing less creativity, and less free people and less creative people are easier to control. And because they're not free, they rely on systems like healthcare or just the government or financial aid. And because they are not
Whoa.
creative, because they are being stripped of their creativity from their health, they're being stripped of their creativity. They don't have creative solutions to get out of those situations. So really, it
Yes.
does go like your health and your creativity, they go hand in hand, but they are both extremely, extremely important. And it starts with like, I love that you said that. It's like turning off your phone for 12 to 24 hours at a time. Or even if you are on your phone, use it for like what we talked about, like write lyrics down in it or something. Or send out
Yeah.
a social media post that can help people and realize it's like, it's called like a TV program for a reason. Like it's programming you. Or like TV is television, tell a vision. Like they're putting stuff into your head. And that's why you have to be so careful about what you consume. And really it does come back to taking that into your own hands and like relaxing yourself from needing the phone all the time.
Yeah, and maybe like being very like efficient with the way if one were to write a post or write something on Substack, like really taking time to be like, for this hour, I'm gonna do that. And then once that's completed, and maybe I've responded to DMs or emails or then I'm off the phone, right? For a whole 10 to 12 hours.
Yeah.
Like and being like, but like taking the time to prepare yourself to do that. I think not just like doing that randomly, being like, oh, I'm fed up with this. I'm just gonna go off the grid. But like actually scheduling the time to then go off your phone.
Yes. Like yeah, prepare. I think that's really great. Like cuz then you're
Yeah.
mentally prepared for it. And I think then you are less likely to like give in and like 2 or 3 hours through you're like, "Oh, I need my phone." Where it's like you prepare yourself like, "Okay, at noon today, I'm not going to open my phone until tomorrow morning, tomorrow at noon or something like that." You're prepared for that. So
Mm.
you're already in the mindset of like okay, I know that I'm probably going to do a lot of journaling, or I might meditate for 60 minutes instead of 20 minutes today, or I'm really excited to read this book and this book tonight because I know that I'm not going to be on my phone already. Like that does sound super powerful. I like that little shift is like prepare yourself to do it.
Whoa. And to bring back to that about television, when you
Mhm.
had thinking about the the context in the word, I was thinking about cell phones. I think last week my aunt was just talking to me about right cell phones as in like a prison in your mind, like
Yeah.
as in like yeah, our phones are controlling us. Like our thoughts and ideas, I think, are also getting restricted as well as being like expanded and thinking of new ways to think. But there's also like it's also getting restricted.
Yes.
And it might sound like counterintuitive. It might sound like I don't even know trying to say like both things that it's both good and bad. But
Mhm.
I've definitely just been like really like confused recently thinking about all of the health effects of all of this.
Mhm. I do think like yeah, the phone is definitely a tool. And like with any tool, you can do a really bad or harmful things or you can
Mm.
build really great beautiful things. And I think it's really the phone is a tool that's very easily distracting you. Like you think like a hammer, like you could do a good thing and build a house, or you could do a bad thing and hurt your finger or throw it at somebody or something. But a hammer doesn't
Yeah, throw a hammer.
distract you and suck you into using it, you know? Like, but it's still a tool. But your phone could do a really good thing of like building yourself a business or communicating, like we're doing here, or it could do a really
Yeah.
bad thing where, like, I was literally looking into this morning. If you spend 6 hours a day on your phone, that's 1.5 months a year, and if you say for the next 40 years you're spending 6 hours on a screen, that literally is 10 years of your life. That's what that equals, 6 hours a day. So, like, that's a really, really bad thing. But the trick with it is that the phone sucks you into using it, whereas, like, a hammer doesn't suck you into using it. It's not addictive. So, I think that's the biggest thing that we have to be careful for. And I was just looking
6 hours.
up the,
6 hours a day.
yeah, which is like average screen time. That's why I use that number.
Yes, I can believe it. Oh, sorry. What were we gonna say after that point?
I was looking into, I don't know how to say the word exactly, etymology, I believe, which is like the breaking down of words for
Mm-hmm.
phone. And it means sound or voice. So, like you say, and then the cell phone, like imprisoning your voice or imprisoning your sound.
Ah. I also just looked up that there's roughly 4,000 to 4,700 weeks in a human lifetime. So
Yeah. So we say
if
4,000 and then 6 hours a day. Even we'll give you Sundays, all right? We'll say no phone on Sundays just to give some even more leeway. So 4,000 times 36 hours is 144,000 hours. And then 24 hours in a day is 6,000 days, 365 days in a month. That's a lot.
my brain's gonna explode.
16 years, I believe. If I did that all right, I'm not sure. It was 16 years of your life.
unless
Like literally
unless
until
we
you're
live
old
to
enough
be
to get your driver's license, that's how long you've been on your phone. Like the average
whoa.
person, if it's their entire life. It's like, well, think
Oh my
if you're
gosh.
on your phone 6 hours and you sleep 6 to 8 hours, that's like a 1/3 of your time, or even half of your time on your phone. So it's like,
Yeah,
yeah. What tools do you like to restrict the phone usage, or does that come pretty easily for you to like say like, okay, I'm not
mm,
going to be on my phone for 24 hours? Is there like a
well maybe
plan
this
behind that, or is it easy?
well maybe this could help someone listening. I think it's having a journal
Mm,
in place of a phone if you're going somewhere. Like bring a wallet and bring a journal instead of the phone.
yeah.
And then instead of when you have a tendency to want to look at your phone, maybe just write instead. like write in the journal instead of using your phone. Or the other thing that I uh used to do, um and it's probably not that smart, but it's like bringing nothing with you.
Yeah. Like,
It's
hey,
like
I
going
don't
out,
need
it's like,
anything.
yeah, this could end really poorly though, right? Because what if on that trip, you saw that lady when the wind picked up and the person pulled the hat over themselves? Um, what if it was that situation, but it was a crazy person and you have no keys, no wallet, no phone, and you're just like walking aimlessly along
Yeah.
and something happened. Like, of course, like I mean, uh, a throwback, but I don't know. And I know it's like it's unpredictable and it's like it can throw other people off when they don't know what to expect and someone might be confused where it's like, but if you literally have nothing on you and you're just like out on like a little voyage,
Yeah.
like you have crazy experiences.
Mm-hmm. And then in those situations where like, oh, like maybe you're unsafe, that's where the health comes in. If you practice sprints, you can run away. Or if you're strong and you could like hurdle or get through the woods or something like that, like holistic health and some primal
Oh
movement
yeah.
and stuff, you will be very safe. Even if you practice like very minor health things, you are much safer than you think in public because
Hmm.
so many people of those people don't do that stuff. So even if they have a little bit of energy, holistic health, especially breath work, like you mentioned, that's huge. It's like you have much more endurance than a lot of people. So it's not something to rely on, like, but it's something to fall back on. It's like if you catch yourself with nothing. But yeah, I certainly have found it's like some of the best moments ever have been like when I'm on a walk in the cold. So I'm moving my body, getting some cold exposure with no
Hmm.
phone. Or like maybe I have my phone in my pocket, but it's too cold to pick it up and have my fingers out of my pockets or something like that. So really those have been some of the most like peak clarity and gratitude moments of my life. And that what you said about like maybe just taking a small notebook with you reminded me like my great grandpa was a songwriter and he had a few albums that he sent down to Nashville to get recorded and things like that.
Oh wow.
Um, and that was my great grandpa. He's still alive today. I'm very, very grateful to have that much family. But my grandpa told me it was like he always saw him with a little notepad in like his front left shirt pocket. He always had a notepad and a pen. So if he was at work or if he was out in public or something and he had a song idea, he could write down a lyric quick. And I just always thought that was so cool. And then you mentioned that too. And it's like, okay, you could apply
Mm.
that to like when you feel like you need to get your phone out, you could you could literally write a song lyric or write something that you're grateful for or write a quick note to a loved one at home or something like that. It's like you can do
Hmm.
really great things rather than just write like, "Oh, I just had the urge to pick up my phone." You can write, "I am extremely grateful to not be addicted to my phone." Or something, or I am extremely
Whoa.
grateful that I get to be at this park right now or with these friends right now or something like that. I think it could be turned to gratitude. That would be super, super powerful.
Yeah, like instead of taking a photo or video of the experience, you're with your friends, you're out. As so much of us want to document it, like literally just putting your phone down and writing, "I am grateful to be with my friends in this
Yes,
space."
that's
Like, and
beautiful.
then you're keeping that memory for yourself. Like you're actually not really documenting. You're documenting that for yourself. Like
Yes.
you're not having to post a picture of what you're doing. Like you're literally
Yeah.
just writing.
And then it's internal. So it's so much more gratifying because you're not taking a picture to post or to send to the group chat later. You're doing that purely for yourself. Like I've done a story a day journal for just about 2 years now, and I write like 1 to 2 sentences about my day, like one story that I can tell and how it made me feel. So I can scroll back to just about any day in the last 2 years and say one sentence about what I did that day. And then from there, like the memories kind of come in after I read the one sentence about it. But yeah, like that is completely for me, and I've not shared that. And it feels so amazing to just have that story.
Wait, you've written for 2 years? You've never missed a day?
I've missed a couple days, unfortunately, but the days that I have missed, if I remember, like commonly is like we'd go camping for the weekend and I wouldn't have my phone on me. I'd like when we do that, I'd keep my phone in the car all weekend, and then I'd write down what I remember. But there have been like maybe 3 days that I've forgotten. But like I'm scrolling
Hmm.
back, The first one I did was January 29th, 2024.
Oh wow, so that's 20.
So just about 2 years in the next month.
Yeah, and yeah,
But so that's always going back to the songwriting too. I have not used it as a tool for songwriting, but I could scroll back to any day and see if there's any like unique stories from my real life that I can like get into that headspace in and use that as inspiration to write a song or write a story
yeah.
similar to my real life story. So that
That's
could be a
exactly what I was
great tool for
thinking.
songwriters.
When I heard that I had to back up and say, even if you missed a day, having all of that, all those little bits and pieces, like those have to be perfect little songwriting, potential songwriting starters.
Yes, they are definitely. Even like I scrolled back to just see how long ago the first one was. And I'm like, there's just got to be so many cool moments in here that were very special and extremely unique. Because not a lot of people write a story every single day. So it kind of
No,
lets
no,
you,
no.
it unlocks this ability for you to create stories in the mundane. Because it's like, I don't go out and adventure or go for a really cool hike or go to a Jason Isbell concert every single day, you know? It's like those
Hmm.
stories are in there. But there have been days where, like, I didn't feel good, so I just sat around all day, or I didn't want to leave the house, or I didn't leave the house, or something sad happened. So it's like you really learn to find stories in the mundane. And my friends have even told me a few times, they're like, Reese, you are so good. You're so good at like finding excitement in the littlest, dumbest things ever. And I'm like, you know, now I'm connecting the dots and I'm like, maybe that's why. It's because I've written a story about days where I've sat in my bedroom all day.
Right.
And it's kind of made me
Wow.
excited for each day. Like I wake up and I am aware that, okay, I'm going to write a sentence about today. It's going to be something. I don't know. What am I going to do today?
Writing every day.
I would
How do
highly
you like? How
recommend
early
that.
would you wake up on average? Is there like a you said?
How early do I wake up?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Like on average, like
Yeah.
extremely early. Is it vary throughout the week?
The last few months it's been 6 a.m. Weekend or weekday. Any days, just usually around 6 a.m. Sundays I will sleep in a little bit. Sundays are kind of my rest day. I don't do any work, so I'll sleep in until like maybe 7:30. But yeah, usually at 6 o'clock, and then I write my story a day sentence at the end of the day at about, so I have my reminder that goes off at 9 p.m. every night, because usually I've noticed like it's the end of my day. I've usually gotten my whole day and I usually go to bed at 9:30 or 10. So yeah, I write it at 9:30. I don't like writing it the next day because I have noticed that I'm not in the same feelings that I was if it's the day
Mm,
after. When I write it on the same day, first I remember
right.
better so I can remember the best story, but I'm also in that feeling because I've just experienced it that day.
Yeah, yeah. You're. It's yeah. It's definitely best to write about that rather than waiting and then writing about the following day
Yeah,
those same
it's not the
thoughts and
same.
feelings and emotions that arise from. Mm.
Well, I would highly recommend it. It's
So it's
so
60.
simple. You could do it in like a paper notebook or Google spreadsheets or something. Just write the day, the date, and then write like 1 to 2 sentences just telling a story. I think that'd be super, super cool for you looking back on it. And anybody listening, there's nobody that I wouldn't recommend it to. Everybody should do it.
Yeah. Heck, I need to start doing that.
Yeah, it'll be super, super powerful for you.
So it's 6 a.m. You're waking up in the van,
Yes.
and then what are the first things that you are doing? If it's not if it's Monday through Saturday.
Yeah. First, I meditate for 20 minutes. That's one of the first things that I do. It kind of just gets me set. I started doing it in the morning right after waking up because I was like, okay, meditating is something that I want to prioritize every single day. I didn't used to do it every day. I would just do it whenever I felt like it. but I was in the thinking that I want to do it every single day. And I was like, the easiest time to do it is in the morning right away. So yeah, meditate 20 minutes. I've done that for, I believe, 27 days in a row now. And then from there, I get up and I just get into deep work right away. So the first thing I usually do is I like to build whatever project or maybe a giveaway or like just like like a little free product or something, or maybe I'm building something bigger back end. I'm like doing my big building thing. That's my first work block. Next is I'm creating. So I'm writing social media posts and I'm working on my Substack article for the next couple days because I do 2 a week, 1 to 2 a week. So that's my second work block. Third is I'll open up like networking a little bit. I'll tidy up any other little things that I have to do. That's usually when I do my podcast or create the podcast clips, record YouTube videos, and that comes a little bit later in the morning. And then in between those work blocks, in between the first and second work block, I do breath work every single morning for 10 to 15 minutes. Then in between the second and third one, I do some form of intense movement. So I'll do like max jump squats and like lymphatic hops or something. Just get my heart rate really, really high. And it takes like 5 or 10 minutes. It really does not take long. And then most days I don't do it twice a day, but I would like to. But some days I do that twice a day. So I'll do like 2 really intense, like 5 to 10 minute workouts just to get my heart rate up, get my body moving a little bit. And that I've found really helps me focus. So that's usually what my days look like going into the afternoon. And from the afternoon, I kind of let myself float a little bit. I'll do whatever I feel like. I'll hang out with people. I'll go do my thing for the day, whatever. And then in the evenings, I really enjoy just winding down, taking it easy. So that is usually just reading a book or journaling or like reading some Substack articles. I've started reading on Substack a lot more recently, and I haven't really done that a lot in the past, and I've enjoyed that. So yeah, usually just some winding down.
2 things.
Yeah.
One, my friend Chris was talking about the idea that with Substack with videos being added and more video content, he thinks it's not a good thing. Do you think you think it would be a good thing for Substack to not include videos, to just be about the writing?
I think that the people who have been on Substack don't like that there's videos on there. And I think other than that, I am indifferent. Personally, I don't want to watch a YouTube video on Substack or a YouTube video. That was right where I was going. I would want to watch a video on YouTube and not on Substack. Because Substack, I do just like reading articles, or if I'm scrolling through somebody's publication, I want to read. That's just the mindset that I am in. I do think that it could become a more bigger thing. Like I've even seen like scrolling through people's publications, videos get a few more likes sometimes, I think. And maybe that's because they're just unique. I don't know. But I personally don't put video on Substack. I just do my podcasts on Substack, so that way people have that available. But I put all my videos just on YouTube. I don't think it's really a bad thing, though. And it's another option. And I don't know. It probably doesn't hurt to put them on Substack. But I do know that the platform was started off as extremely writing based. It was all writing,
Yes.
just articles. And then they opened it up to more like a little social media with their notes. And it became social media. Like you could see people's accounts and things like that weren't just their publication. And then they added in podcasts. So you could host your podcast on there. People could watch your podcast. And now it's like they have videos on there, and short form videos are on there. And almost every post on Substack includes an image now. And I remember when I first signed up, there was very few images on the feed, but I just scrolled through the feed quick, just as an example. And there's an image on, I'll say like 40% of the posts.
Yeah.
So I think that it's heading away from writing based, But I don't think that you are at a disadvantage if you are just a writer. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. First, if you write a super interesting post, it doesn't hurt. It takes you like 3 minutes or less than that to find an interesting image to put on it. And if that image is going to get you more traction, do it, because if you're a writer, you want people to read your writing. And if an image is going to capture a little bit more attention and get you better engagement, do it, because that aligns with your goal of getting people to read your work. If you don't want to go any further past that, I don't think that it's necessary. I think that like just purely writers can still succeed on Substack, but I don't know the ins and outs of the platform, but I don't see it like shifting completely like video, short form video, images everywhere. I think that you will still succeed if you are just a writer.
Wow. I love that. Also, 27 days of meditating in a row that you have, is that what you had said earlier?
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
do you now can you tell me how you felt prior to doing that? And also along with all the breath work prior to these 27 days, like maybe 30 days ago, do you remember how you felt mentally before this dedicated time in meditating?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I like it. I will say I have not felt extremely different, but I have noticed the benefits and I have enjoyed them. I am more calm going into my work. I don't feel like I'm not like, because like I do my deep work immediately after meditating, and I'm not as much like, oh, I need to get this done. I have to do this. Like, hurry up. I need to do this. I'm like, okay, I'm just doing this right now. And I think that unlocks flow state for me so much easier. It also kind of puts me in this state in the morning of like, I am okay. I got to enjoy my meditation. That was super powerful. I got to just be with myself. I got to maybe work through some things. So no matter what happens in my day, like I am okay because I'll get to meditate tomorrow morning. And I got my meditation this morning. And it's like, I think that in the mornings, at least, following my meditation, I don't get as like ticked by stuff. It doesn't get to me as much, where I really see things as like being okay, and not every little thing gets to me in my mornings. And I have noticed that when those things do come to me, it's in the afternoons or the evenings after like the meditation effects have worn off for a couple hours, you know what I mean? And I'm also
Mm.
on, I don't even know, I've lost track, but roughly day like 280 of breath work in a row. And that has been extremely transformational. Those have been like the effects of my daily meditation, but even more powerful. And I've also noticed a lot of physical effects on that too. Like I just feel less stress on my body. I feel like I go play basketball with my friends, and I don't like exercise like a crazy more amount than they do. Like a couple of them were in the military and stuff, got out of boot camp, so they're pretty fit. But I notice like my advantage is I can just keep going. I don't get tired when I'm playing basketball with these guys. Like I will just keep going. And that's really been my advantage. And I accredit that 100% to breath work, along with the other like more mental things that I was mentioning too. So those two things have been super, super powerful for just like easing through days, it feels like, without stress. I'm curious, do you meditate?
Yeah, not as much as like definitely not like setting like days in a row. Like I definitely meditate kind of randomly and
Yeah.
do breath work randomly. Like I almost wonder if I were to more methodically and set aside time every day to do these things rather than just like spontaneously being like I'm gonna do some breath work or I'm gonna do some Wim Hof and like or and it doesn't matter what time of day it is or even what situation I'm in or like with meditating. Um, there's a Tibetan Buddhist Mongolian cultural center in Indiana that I go to sometimes to meditate,
Mm.
and that has definitely healed a lot of thoughts up for me when I'm going through chaos or feel like it's some stressful times. But like as far as like having days in a row of meditating and breath work, like I definitely like haven't like written that down or calculated that. Like definitely don't keep a journal to myself or a log. It feels like it's always really spontaneous.
Yeah. That's what I used to be like too. And honestly, you can find such great benefits from even just doing it kind of randomly. The only reason I started doing it every single day is I noticed like when life got busy or when I got stressed, the times when you need this stuff the most, like that was the thing that I forgot about and cut out. And I was like, wait,
Mm.
this is kind of silly. It doesn't make sense. Like the moments where I need this stuff to support me is when I'm like kind of letting it go. So I was like, okay, if I tell myself I'm going to do it every single day, I'm going to be all right.
Yeah. I also realized, have we gone over on time?
Yeah, we're at about hour 15 right now.
Oh, dang. Yeah, because I didn't even like look until I realized that I took my I was like, oh shoot. I was like, I know it took me several minutes for me to get my like set up, but yeah, I really realized it's like
Yeah.
I don't. What did you say? Target time was 45 to an hour.
Yeah, I'm good to hop if you are. I don't have any last questions, I believe. Did you have anything else you wanted to hit before we hop off?
Um, I don't think so. I just this has been like a really, really, really like insightful conversation.
Yeah. I've had a lot of
I was
fun. I think it's been
yeah, man,
very
I'm having like
unique.
some
Go ahead.
yeah. Well, no, I was gonna say like even talking about in the beginning, um, music and songwriting stuff. I'm having like a lot of just some thoughts on what I could do differently to mix it up to get out of like to be more creative and to get out of writer's block and some things I have not thought about before and a story a day idea that in itself that's not even pertaining to songwriting but like right like I think that and breathwork. Heck, no, I learned some stuff too. Yeah, dude, I am I don't know. This helped me a lot.
Yeah, that's really awesome. I'm happy.
And sorry about rambling at all too.
I think it was a very unique conversation. I had a lot of fun.
Heck yeah.
But where can people find you if they heard you on here and they're interested and want to connect or learn a little bit more? Do you have a website or social media?
Yeah, so Elias and then underscore McD Sipe on both X and Instagram.
Great. And I'll link both of
Um
those.
okay, and then my music is just under Elias Fisher. For like all my songwriting stuff on like on Spotify, Apple, Tidal, YouTube, all those platforms.
Wonderful. Yeah, I'll have all that linked at the top so people can just click on it and find it right away. But anyways, I've had a great time here. I really appreciate you coming on. Thanks for reaching out and asking to come on here because I had a lot of fun. So thank you very much.
Cool. Yeah, thanks for having me on here. This was awesome.